The third experiment is to in this experiment you have to determine mechanical equivalent of heat by Callender and Barnes method. Okay. ये कैलेंडर एंड बांस दो साइंटिस्ट थे, इन्होंने एक मेथड इवेल्युएट किया to find the mechanical equivalent of heat. Now to see what do you mean by mechanical equivalent of heat. So before I explain this, I will go to, as all of you know, law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. क्या होता है law of conservation of energy?
Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed.
It can be only
भाई energy can be neither created or destroyed, but yes, energy can be transformed from one form to another form. Energy can be transferred from one form to another form. So let's suppose if there is a mechanical energy, or you can say there is a electrical energy, and we are using this mechanical or electrical energy to generate heat energy. There are large number of methods by which a heat energy can be produced by using electrical energy. So the simplest method is using by these filaments. Okay, if you apply electrical energy on a filament, then it can produce heat energy. Okay. So in this method, in this basically law of conservation of energy, the magnitude of electrical energy which is being dissipated will be equal to the magnitude of heat energy. Yes, the magnitude of energies will be equal during any process, but sometimes units of this heat energy and electrical energy or mechanical energy are different. For example, the mechanical energy and electrical energy are generally expressed in joules. So, and whereas the heat energy is generally expressed in calories. So yes, we can, by some methods, we can create heat energy from electrical energy and vice versa. Also, we can also create mechanical energy from heat energy. But because their units of measurement are different, 1 joule means joule is the energy of this mechanical energy, joule is the unit of this mechanical energy, while calorie is the basic general unit of heat energy. So the conversion will be absolute. Because of this law of conservation of energy, but their units are different. So there must exist a expression, a relation between these units, these different units. For example, if I am right, this 1 calorie is equal to 4.18 joule. This 1 calorie is equal to 4.18 joule, right? This expression means yes, law of energy of conservation will always hold. That will not be a problem. But if I consume 4.18 joule of mechanical energy, then I can create 1 calorie of heat energy. Or you can say 4.18 joule of mechanical energy is equivalent to 1 calorie of heat energy. Is this clear? So our aim is we have to, okay, this expression is basically called mechanical equivalent of heat. So the quantity, this 4.18, is actually called the mechanical equivalent of heat. So this means that how much mechanical energy is equivalent to 1 unit of heat energy. So the mechanical equivalent of heat which we will be finding should lie in this range, should be almost equivalent to this one. Okay. This was the definition of mechanical equivalent of heat. This is the expression, this is the relation between the units of mechanical energy and heat energy. So based on this understanding, the person, this Calendars and Barnes, there are two different persons. They devised a instrument, they devised a methodology by which we can actually find this relation. If how much joule will create how much calorie of heat energy. So let's see the basic setup for this experiment. This is a very simple setup. There is a hollow, narrow glass tube. There is a hollow, narrow glass tube. अंदर से खाली है ये ट्यूब, narrow glass tube, and on this tube we have wrapped a nichrome filament. We have wrapped a nichrome filament on this tube. Now nichrome and all these type of alloys like tungsten also have property that when they are heated, when a potential is applied on these wires, on these filaments, then they will create heat energy. They will create heat energy. So nichrome filament is wrapped on this hollow glass tube, and if I apply a potential on this nichrome filament, if I apply a potential on this on this nichrome filament, and let us consider this is our you can say this is our system. I am defining this as my thermal system or my system basically. So whenever I applied potential on this nichrome filament, there will be evolution of heat energy because of this heating of this filament. So first part is what I am doing is by applying potential on this filament, what I am doing is I am creating electrical energy to heat energy. Okay. Now this nichrome filament will generate heat energy, and to measure this heat energy, to measure the magnitude of this heat energy, what we will do is we will flow water inside this hollow tube. We will flow water inside this hollow glass tube, and we will see how much energy, how much heat energy has this water absorbed from this glass tube. Okay, so first of all, what we have done, we have applied a potential on filament, and because of this potential, the filament will generate some heat energy. So that means we are creating heat energy from electrical energy. Now to measure this heat energy, we will flow a water, continuous flow of water through this narrow glass tube, and we will also measure temperature of this water in and temperature of this water out. We will also find flow rate of this water, flow rate of this water. So the heat energy absorbed by this water will become equal to m1, the mass per unit time flowing through this, into S, the specific heat of water, into the temperature difference of these two ends. So this ms delta t will actually give me the measurement of the amount of heat energy generated in this glass tube. And this heat energy is generated by the electrical energy. And we also have the value of the magnitude of this electrical energy, because electrical energy, you can see the power generated in this nichrome filament, the power generated in this nichrome filament can be simplified by multiplying the voltage applied into the current flowing through this nichrome filament. And of course we can add a ammeter in this. Okay. So we have I. So if we have V and I of this nichrome filament, if we have voltage and current of this nichrome filament, then easily we can find power dissipated in this filament. And this power dissipated, this electrical energy dissipated, is converted into heat energy, and we have successfully measured the magnitude of this heat energy. We can successfully measure the magnitude of this heat energy by this expression m1 s into t2 minus t1. Okay, itna clear hai? Now we will see how we can actually measure these quantities. Okay, that is later part, but first I want to show you now. Okay, I was saying the power delivered to the nichrome filament was V1 I1, and we know P is equal to E by T. Okay, we have to work with E. So I will take T is equal to standard unit, my जो भी वो है 1 second. So this P V1 I1, this P will be equivalent to my E if T is 1 second. Is it right? So this is actually my electrical energy. Now my power is converted into electrical energy if I am assuming this power in 1 second. And this electrical energy, when divided by, okay, let's say this electrical energy will be equivalent to, at thermal equilibrium, okay, we also have to define a thermal equilibrium. A thermal equilibrium in this case will be a condition when the temperature of this water T1 and T2 will remain constant, will become stationary, will become steady. And at that point, if the temperature of this T2 thermometer is not changing, then that means whatever the heat energy is being produced from this electrical energy, the same heat energy is being expelled out from the system by the means of flowing water. जो भी हीट एनर्जी इस नाइक्रोम फिलामेंट क्रिएट कर रहा है, वो सेम हीट एनर्जी वाटर बाहर लेके जा रहा है सिस्टम से. इसीलिए द टेम्परेचर ऑफ T2 विल नॉट चेंज फर्दर. कुछ टाइम के लिए बढ़ेगा, उसके बाद T1 और T2 will become constant, and at that point is called point of thermal equilibrium, and at that point you can say now whatever the nichrome filament is generating, whatever heat energy the nichrome filament is generating, the same amount of heat energy is being expelled out from the system by the flowing water. That is why the temperature on thermometer T2 is not rising and is not changing. Okay, so at this point of thermal equilibrium, at this point of steady state, my power delivering, my electrical energy entering into the system is equal to V1 I1, and my heat energy escaping from the system is equal to M1 S and T2 minus T1, M2 S and T2 minus T1. So at this point thermal equilibrium, and at this point of thermal equilibrium, I can measure the value of V1 and I very simply by means of voltmeter and ammeter. It should not create any problem. And at this point S is given, specific heat of water is given. At thermal equilibrium, T2 and T1 can be easily measured. At thermal equilibrium, T2 and T1 can be easily measured. And M1 is mass of water flowing per second. This can also be easily measured. We will that flowing water we can measure with respect to time. We will take a stopwatch and we will see how much water we have collected in how much amount of time. So all these parameters can be calculated very easily, mass of water flowing per unit time. Okay, but see, law of conservation of energy is holding good in this case, but yes, there is some loss of heat or some loss of energy because of some other modes of conduction, Let's say all the heat lost is equal to plus H. This heat lost or this energy lost can attribute to various factors. For example, there may be some energy lost due to radiation. When you are heating something, then that heat can either be used to heat that water, that flowing water, or some of the very minute quantity of that energy can also be dissipated in the form of radiation. And there are some more processes, however their magnitude will be very, very small, but yes, we cannot convert whole of the mechanical energy into this heat energy always. Efficiency will not be 100% in any case. So yes, the total energy of this, the total law of conservation of energy is actually this one. This V1 I1, that is electrical energy, that is source of energy, is equivalent to, okay, I will write here, this is source, this is sink, where energy is being dissipated, this is from where the energy is being created, and this is, you can say, loss, energy loss. Okay, now the problem is, now where the problem comes in, we have, okay, first of all, very important point, this electrical energy, the amount of this electrical energy will, the units of this electrical energy and this heat energy is different. So we have to divide this V1 I1 by J. by J, where this J is called mechanical equivalent of heat. So whatever be the value of electrical energy, we will divide by a constant which is called mechanical equivalent of heat, and then this expression will hold good for law of conservation of energy. The units of this V1I1, that is electrical energy, were different, were joules. Okay, and the units of this heat energy absorbed were calories. So we actually want to, if we want to relate these things, we have to divide this V1I1 by our mechanical equivalent of heat. So J will come here and we have to find the value of this J. Now to find the value of J in this whole expression, what we have V1, we have I1, we have M1, we have T2 and T1. In this setup, we can find all these things, but we cannot find H. The heat lost, however, maybe the magnitude will be small, but we cannot find H in this case. So we cannot correlate this thing in a very good manner. So what we will do is, we will make two scenarios. We will try to achieve two steady state. Steady state 1. This was your steady state 1. In this case, we have find all these parameters, and after this, we will just change the value of V1, the value of applied voltage, vary voltage. We will vary the voltage applied on the filament, and because of that, if we change the V to V2, because of that, a different magnitude of current will start flowing through this filament. V2 I2 will now be the electrical energy imparted to the system. Okay, and this V2 I2 will now, the magnitude of this V2 I2 is now changed. So the amount of heat energy generated in the system will also change, and because of that change in heat energy generated, this T2 minus T1 will also change, the thermal equilibrium will also change. Now if we have increased this value V2 I2, now the temperature difference of incoming water and outgoing water will be high, because now more of the energy is being generated, and to absorb that energy, the temperature of the water will rise, or maybe flow will also be affected in some manner. So the second equation will become, A will remain there for the same reason. Second, that this expression for second steady state, for steady state 2, will be M2 S specific heat into T2 minus T1 at second steady state. This T2 minus T1 is different than this T2 minus T1. Actually, I will call this T2 minus T1 as Q1, where Q1 is the difference in the temperature of outgoing water and inlet water. Similarly, this Q2, I will call this as Q2. This Q2 will be the difference in temperature of water, outgoing water and incoming water. And we will consider that the energy loss because of the radiation and because of all other things will remain same in both the cases. This H will remain same. Now the benefit of these two expressions, these two equations are this: we can eliminate, we can neglect, we can eliminate, we can neglect the effect of this H, this heat loss, from these two equations. How? We can simply what we can do is, we can simply subtract equation 1 from equation 2, and this will 2 minus 1 will give me V2 I2 minus V1 I1 by J, and for this term it will be Okay, it will be M2 S I can take outside M2 Q2 M2 Q2 minus M1 Q1, where Q2 and Q1 are temperature differences on both the thermometers at steady states, respectively 2 and 1. Okay, so this will be my expression. And now you can see this H is neglected. This H is compensated, you can say, from both the expressions. And now I can simply find the value of this J by calculating this quantity. V2 I2 minus V1 I1 divided by S into MQ2 minus M1 Q1, where V2 I2 were the voltage and current from the filament at the point of thermal equilibrium. S is the specific heat. M, okay, this was M2. M2 and M1 are mass flowing from system per unit of time at respective steady state. M2 means at steady state 2, what is the flow rate of water. Q2 is Q2 and Q1 are actually temperature differences of both the thermometers of both ends at the steady states 1 and 2 respectively. So yes, the overall experiment is our this one. First we have to, okay, first of all let me show you with this, then we will discuss this formula again later on. We will discuss this procedure again. Okay. So as I have told you, I have basically explained you the basic physics behind this experiment. Now we will see how we have to perform this experiment. So our aim was to find the mechanical equivalent of heat J by the Callendar and Barnes method. Okay, ये फॉर्मूला है, ये वही सेम फॉर्मूला है जो मैंने आपको बताया है, थोड़ा सा फॉर्मूले में डिफरेंस है, बट जो मैंने फॉर्मूला बताया है एक्चुअली ये सेम है, बट उसका थोड़ा अलग टाइप से बना रखा है, वो देखेंगे. Okay, this you can see, actually this you can see, this is actually your Callendar and Barnes setup. Okay, there is a nichrome filament in this glass tube. There is a nichrome filament in this glass tube, and we have on both the ends we have arrangement for applying potential, for applying electrical potential. Okay, and this glass tube, we can flow water through this glass tube. Okay, we can flow water through this glass tube. ये PPT अच्छा नहीं है. This you can see, this is your glass tube in which a nichrome filament is being wrapped, and there are provisions for applying potential on this filament, and this is your hole on right hand side. This is your hole setup. You can see in this box this tube is there. From right hand side water will start flowing into this, and water will circulate around this narrow tube, hollow tube, and water will come out from this end. This thermometer will give you temperature T2. These two thermometers will give you temperature T1. Okay, both of these thermometers will show you same readings, and they will give you value T1, and this will give you T2. And you can apply from these knobs, you can see from it, and there are you can connect wires on these narrow on these edges on side A and side B, and you can apply potential on that nichrome filament. Okay, so for applying potential we simply require a power supply, and to measure the voltmeter and ammeter we simply these voltmeter to measure the voltage and current we simply require this voltmeter and ammeter, and we also require a rheostat to change the applied potential. You must be knowing the principle of rheostat that is rheostat, can be used to as a potential divider circuit. Okay. So on this power supply, we will directly connect the rheostat, and by moving the arm of this rheostat, we can apply different amount of potential on the nichrome filament, and we can measure this applied potential, and as well as we can also measure the current flowing through that nichrome wire. On the calendar kit, you can see what we require is we require a water reservoir and a leveler to provide a maintain constant flow of water through this apparatus. We also require a graduated cylinder to find out the flow rate of water flowing through this tube. We also require a stopwatch for measuring the water, in how much time we are getting how much water, what is the flow rate. For all these things, this graduated cylinder will give you the volume, this stopwatch will give you the time. Similarly, we also require thermometers for measuring temperature on both the ends of this tube, and some connecting wires to provide potential, to apply potential on the nichrome wire. So this one is your actually your setup. This is just the electrical part setup. This is your step-up transformer, step-down transformer, is voltmeter, emitter, and rheostat. Okay, so this is a method how you will apply, how you should connect your connections from this step-down transformer, from this power supply. You can connect this power supply directly onto the rheostat, and you can take connections from one end of the rheostat and upper arm of the rheostat. So by moving this jockey, by moving this slider, you can select the voltage, applied voltage on the filament. By moving this slider, you can select a different amount of voltage, different magnitude of voltage on the filament. And yes, you also have to measure the current flowing through this circuit, as emitter is connected in series and while voltmeter is connected in parallel to this filament. This is very simple electricity mechanism course. Okay, so this will be your circuit diagram to apply electrical energy to this nichrome filament. Now we will come to heat part. Okay, so this heating element, after if we provide potential to this heating element, this will generate some heat, and that heat will be absorbed by the water coming out from this water leveler and circulating in this chamber, and it is coming out in the graduated cylinder. And yes, with the help of stopwatch, we can find the flow rate of this water. While these thermometers, this T1 and T2, will give us the temperature of these inlet water and outlet water during the steady state condition. This is your whole setup. इस तरफ आप अपना रियोस्टेट लगा के इस पे सप्लाई दे रहे हैं, एंड सिमिलरली यहाँ से वाटर फ्लो करके वाटर आउट एक्सपेल हो रहा है, and you can find the temperatures on both. So okay, now I will come back again to my this. See, okay, so first of all, what you have to do is, now I will talk about the procedure. Procedure का PPT भी है. ये है. Okay, this we can see. नहीं है, but ठीक है. You have to connect the apparatus with this rheostat and all these things. You have to adjust the tap and water reservoir. Still rate of flow of water through the tube is about 1 centimeter cube per second. Okay, 1 centimeter cube per second. After that, estimate लगाना है, कोई ऐसा वो नहीं है कि ज़्यादा मेजर करके ही रखना है. ड्रॉप बाय ड्रॉप होना चाहिए आपका फ्लो ऑफ वाटर, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए, फिर नहीं तो टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस क्रिएट नहीं होगा. After that, switch on the current and regulate the rheostat so that current passing is about 2 amperes. Either you can adjust the current, or you can adjust the water. You can adjust the potential. That doesn't matter very much. So So as soon as the temperature of heated water going out, the temperature of thermometer T2 becomes steady. It will take some time to get steady. Okay, you will, after applying some potential, water is flowing, potential is applied, you will start measuring temperatures on both the thermometers with respect to time, like in 3 minutes, in 6 minutes, in 9 minutes, in 30 minutes, in 35, in 40 minutes. ऐसे हर 3-3 मिनट के गैप पे आप टेम्परेचर नोट करेंगे. लास्ट में you will get steady state. Now at this steady state you have to note the temperature of both the thermometers, and you have to note the you have to note the readings on ammeter and voltmeter also. At this point, when the thermal equilibrium is achieved, you have to measure the rate of flow of water with the help of a measuring cylinder. Okay, measuring cylinder में आप स्टॉप वॉच की हेल्प से फ्लो ऑफ रेट मेजर करेंगे. Now this simple process will give you the values, this one, this V1 I1 M1 T2 minus T1. Okay. Similarly, on second set, or you can say on second set, you will change the slider of rheostat and the value of potential will change. After that, yes, steady state is broken now, and you have to wait for some another time for T2 to stabilize, because now the applied potential is different, the amount of heat energy created from that filament is different, so that that's why your M2 or your T2 minus T1 might change. It should change. Okay? And you have to wait for another let's say 20 or 25 minutes, and after stabilizing this T2 and T1, after achieving thermal equilibrium again, you can simply find value of V2 I2 M2 T2 minus T1, and you can insert in this formula. You can simply find the value of it, and it will come around 4.1 to 4.3. It should come around this. Okay, so I will quickly show you the website from which you have to take the observations. There is a calendar and one experiment tab. You can click on this. There will be a small introduction about this. You can read about that. This will be similar. ऐसा ही है जो मैंने बताया है. प्रोसीजर है अच्छे से, इसमें अच्छे से है प्रोसीजर, कैसे इसमें लेना है. वर्चुअल लैब है, इसमें आप चेक कर सकते हैं इनिशियल टेम्परेचर ऑन थर्मोमीटर्स. व्हाट आर द इनिशियल टेम्परेचर ऑन थर्मोमीटर. इसका कैलकुलेशंस में कोई जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगा. इट इज जस्ट टू शो यू कि both the thermometers were at same temperature before starting the experiment. After applying, the first part is you have to adjust the rheostat, you have to switch on the power supply, you have to adjust the rheostat, and you have to set the first current voltage value. Okay. You can use any batch, but if you are measuring this one thing from batch 2, then you have to measure all the things from batch 2 only. Okay. Then after setting up the potential and current on this, you have to obtain the steady state in both the thermometers. Again, it will show you the data T and T1 T2 time with respect to T1 T2 measurements with respect to time. After achieving steady state, you have to calculate the flow rate of water, calculate the mass of water collected at steady state. After that, you have to change the rheostat position. You have to get the second value of voltage and current. Again, for that value, you have to find the steady state, and for that, at that steady state condition, at that thermal equilibrium condition, you have to calculate the mass of water collected at steady state again. Okay, this will give you all the values of this V2, I2, V1, I1, M, Q2, M1, Q1. Okay. All the values will be given from these. Okay, and you have to, at last, you have to do all the calculations. You have to make the observation tables, and you have to upload all your observation and result on this tab. Okay, so I will show you another file See how you have to make your this experiment, this practical pipe. You can see you have to write this formula. This is slightly different, but use that formula. So first is initial temperature लिखा है, steady state 1 अचीव करने का है कि 0, 3 मिनट में, 6 मिनट में, 9 मिनट में T1 एंड T2 पे क्या ऑब्जर्वेशंस आई है, टेबल बनाना है इसका, एंड एट लास्ट entries of table you can see this we are achieving steady state. Okay, we are achieving steady state, and we have to write down the temperature in T1 and T2. Okay. And the difference of this temperature T2 minus T1 will give us Q1 theta 1, ammeter reading and voltmeter reading at this point, and at this point we will see in how much time, with respect to time, how much water we are collecting. Okay, 4 ml, 10 ml, 14 ml, 21 ml in this amount of time. So this m by t we will be calculating from a graph like this. This graph you can see, graph is basically plot between mass of water collected at steady state and with respect to time in seconds. Minutes गलत लिखा है, it is in seconds, and you have to find the slope of this curve. You have to find the slope of this curve, and this slope will give you the m1, that is flow rate of water. Similarly, after this you have to achieve steady state 2, you have to change the rheostat, and you will be checking for steady state 2. And in this again time के साथ thermometers का reading लेना है T1 T2 का, and there you will after some time you will achieve some steady state. उस पे Q2 निकाल लोगे, इन दोनों का जो डिफरेंस होगा that will be Q2. वोल्टमीटर का रीडिंग क्या है, एमीटर का रीडिंग क्या है, ये आपको उस ऑब्जर्वेशन से मिल जाएंगे. सिमिलरली सेकंड स्टेडी स्टेट के लिए भी सेम करोगे, मास ऑफ वाटर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम करोगे, एंड you will plot a graph between this mass of water collected with respect to time. Again you will find slope to find m2 now, m2. Okay, so these will be the calculation. This will be the calculation. ये वही सेम फॉर्मूला जो हमने अभी यूज किया था, from that same formula you can find, from that same formula you can find the steady state. ओके, ये फॉर्मूला दोबारा लिखने की जरूरत है? इसमें से निकाल लेना, मैंने इसका स्क्रीनशॉट लेके दे दिया है. The value of S is this one. okay, बाकी तो नहीं चाहिए आप लोगों को. ये फॉर्मूला यूज करोगे, ये सिलेक्ट नहीं होगा. And you can find the value of J by this.